Scugog Brock Townships support creation of Draven Alert. Dan Kearns, The Standard. Scugog Brock. The townships of Scugog and Brock are adding their voices to a request for a new alert system, following the tragic death of 11-year-old autistic boy Draven Graham in Lindsay. At a meeting on Monday, June 20th, Scugog councillors passed a motion to have the township request the province of Ontario to develop and implement a community warning program similar to Amber Alert for those persons of special needs or circumstances who leave their caregivers or locations and potentially put themselves at risk. The motion also called for the resolution to be circulated to the Premier of Ontario, leaders of the provincial opposition parties, Durham's MPs and MPPs, the region of Durham, and all Durham municipalities. The motion was raised by Ward 5 Councillor Lance Brown. There was no discussion on the motion, and it passed unanimously. Mayor Bobby Drew said the unanimous result was no surprise. The Township of Brock passed the same motion at a meeting on Monday, June 27th. I think this type of alert system is something which is obviously needed, Regional Councillor Ted Smith said. This is a start, and we'll go from there. The Amber Alert is currently only used for children who are abducted. Draven Graham was found deceased in the Scugog River in Lindsay on Monday, June 13th, after being reported missing on Sunday, June 12th. MSIFN OLG to enter mediation to deal with outstanding issues. Dan Kearns, The Standard. Scugog. The Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, MSIFN, and the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Commission, OLG, are headed for mediation after concerns were raised about potential infringements on past agreements. The discussions are centered around claims of agreement violations, bad faith negotiations, and failures to provide consultation related to gaming, an MSIFN press release read. MSIFN is seeking relief for the government's decision to open new gaming facilities near the Great Blue Heron Casino without providing consultation, despite its duty to do so under Section 35 of Canada's Constitution Act. In July of 2021, the MSIFN discussed concerns regarding the opening of a mega casino in Pickering. The Pickering Casino Resort will operate in close proximity to the Great Blue Heron Casino and Casino Ajax, in spite of previous agreements which limited the number of gaming facilities in Durham region. In 2018, without any manner of notice to MSIFN, the provincial government passed regulations to allow the Pickering Casino Resort to operate, in breach of the government's commitments with MSIFN to not operate any new casinos in the GTA, within close proximity to MSIFN's Great Blue Heron Casino, an MSIFN press release stated at the time. In a statement, MSIFN Chief Kelly LaRocca appeared hopeful about these upcoming rounds of discussions. Since meeting with senior government officials 3 years ago, we have welcomed the opportunity to settle our concerns with the province, she said. We see a glimmer of hope, now that they have agreed to mediation. We respect the mediation process and are eager to achieve a fair agreement with the government. OLG officials have not replied to a request for comment by press time.
Cartoonist Walt Radda, celebrating 25 years of drawing cartoons. Dan Kearns, The Standard. North Durham, Kawartha. Longtime cartoonist for The Standard, Walt Radda, will be celebrating 25 years of cartooning with an exhibit at the Kent Farndale Gallery in March of 2023. The exhibit, at the Port Perry Gallery, will be titled 25 Years of Scugog in Cartoons and will run from March 4th to March 30th. Mr. Radda started his cartooning career in 1997, working for the Port Perry Star before it was owned by Metroland. I was working at General Motors, and there I just started doing caricatures and cartoons of foremen and supervisors, and it kind of became a big deal there for a while. It was a lot of fun being able to spoof people. It became more and more of a pastime for me, Mr. Radda explained. I would try some different cartoon strips and send them off, but never had much success. I tried here and there to send my work to newspapers, and on one occasion I stopped at the Port Perry Star and asked if they were interested in a cartoonist. It just so happened my timing was perfect because their former cartoonist, Tim Doulahan, had just left. He got a 2-week trial with that newspaper and was later hired on. Then, following the Port Perry Star's change in ownership to Metroland, many personnel transitions took place. As a result, the Standard, then known as the Scugog Standard, was created. and Mr. Ratta decided to join the standard team. They asked me if I would continue with them, and I was happy to do so because I had friendships there and felt a loyalty to this group. The Port Perry Star did offer me a position, but I felt loyal to the standard group. So I've continued with them until the present day, he said. Mr. Ratta does both the editorial cartoon and the home team cartoon for the standard. At one point, he had tried doing his own custom cartoon creation online business, but found that it wasn't for him. People could send me their requests and I would draw their cartoons for them. Although I was having some success at it, I found I didn't really like it. People could be too particular. After a while, it became too much drudgery for not enough reward. Mr. Ratta stated, after he sends a cartoon to the newspaper, he's never sure what type of response he'll get from the community. I hope they're funny. I think people enjoy them, he said. He's also a self-professed procrastinator. I'll get the concept from the newspaper on Friday. I always kind of leave it. I always think I should start earlier, but then the creative idea sometimes doesn't come to me until Monday or on Tuesday morning, which is the deadline, and then I have to scramble to complete it. However, Mr. Ratta has no regrets about getting into this line of work. It's become such a big part of my life, a very enjoyable and rewarding undertaking or hobby. Cartooning also helped Mr. Ratta reach what he calls his greatest triumph. My family and I really enjoy the show Corner Gas. We watched every episode, and it was really our favorite show when it was on. I had just left General Motors in 2009. That's when I was in limbo, and it was kind of the lowest point of my life at that point. One of my daughters said, "Hey, Corner Gas is having a contest for their last season. It's a contest you can enter to commemorate the series with a poster." So I drew a cartoon and threw into it all of our favorite elements. I drew them all as the band from one of the episodes, and threw all of these elements in, and we entered it. I won. It was chosen as the winner. That was so surprising and so thrilling for us all. This victory led to appearances on Canada AM and eTalk, and to meeting members of the show's cast. It was really a wonderful, thrilling experience for us. We expected television celebrity types, but right away we were like old friends instead. We were so impressed with them. They were such nice people.
Kayak safety tips. Janice Nichols, The Standard. Summertime is here, and I'm just reminding people about water safety while you're out on the water. As some of you may know, I'm an avid kayaker. I kayak a lot and have been doing so for 8 years. By law, you are required to have, as a minimum, the following: a Canadian-approved personal flotation device, PFD, a bailer pump, a P-less whistle horn, a 25-foot heaving line, and a working flashlight. Other additional equipment, which is helpful, is a paddle float and a light, required by law after dusk. Always check the weather continuously before venturing out. Happy paddling!
What is high-intensity training? Lauren Walker, Special to The Standard. I love doing high-intensity cardiovascular training. It refers to doing short bouts of high-intensity exercise. It's important to understand what this program entails and if it's right for you. Let's look at the facts about this particular training method. Fitness level. High-intensity training requires short bouts of high-intensity movement. Think of it as moving quickly for a short time with a short rest in between. The average beginner is not at the same fitness level as those who do this kind of exercise, so this may not be ideal. For example, a beginner is someone who would benefit from a low to moderate program such as walking or using a rowing machine. Keep in mind, we start in small doses and gradually build up time. For an inexperienced exerciser, any form of movement will be a challenge. What does high intensity mean? When you get in better condition, this means your heart is becoming more efficient. Let's look at our maximum heart rate as 100%. Keep in mind, high-intensity workouts encourage reaching 70 to 80% of your maximum. This means your heart rate is high, and you are really exerting yourself. I encourage people to go by perceived exertion. When you feel you're working hard, I classify this as high intensity for the individual. The benefits. High intensity requires a lot of energy. This workout is noted to decrease blood sugar levels. It eats up calories from sugar. For those in better condition, this is a great way to push past your plateau. If you're just not there yet, increasing your overall movement is a great way to start. You have to consider your limitations. My recommendation is always common sense. Practice in small doses until you're more confident. Yours in good health.
The Standard Podcast was produced by Greenstream Studio for the Standard newspaper.